All right, let's go ahead and get started. It is 11:03, so thank you all for joining us today at our RICOH DTG webinar. The topic of our demonstration or our video or webinar today is going to be New Year, New Business. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. We will be taking questions towards the end of the presentation. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please go ahead and jot them down on a notepad or on your phones. We'll be taking two sets of questions, one at the end of the webinar, and then at the end of the webinar, we'll also break out in what we call breakout sessions. So if you've attended one of our webinar in the past, those breakout sessions is these breakout sessions is simply for you to go ahead and ask one of our regional managers any questions that you might have on anything that you've seen today. Okay. Also, if you do have your video on, you can turn it off. We're not going to be using your video, at least not until later on. And then, of course, please mute yourself during the webinar. Okay. All right, let's get started. So again, new year, new business, 2021. I never thought that we'd be saying this and that we're all happy to be in 2021. I know I am. So let's go ahead and talk about our agenda of what we're going to be or today's discussion. So first of all, my name, so we'll do introductions. My name is Hazel Mitchell, and I'm the marketing and sales director. They change my title every once in a while. So, but officially I'm the marketing and sales director for RICOH DTG. Today we're going to be having a special guest, and his name is Brian Walker from RTP Apparel. And then we'll also have a demo from Brian as well. After that, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about why start a direct garment business. Then we'll talk a little bit about the general business principles, sales and marketing. Then we'll cover the family of RICOH printers and the different applications that you can print on. And then we'll have another special announcement about a new product that we are going to start carrying. We'll have a product demo and some questions with that. And then for everyone, everyone's waiting for is the iPad giveaways. We'll be giving our 2 iPads today. And then right after that, we'll go into the breakout sessions. So again, the breakout sessions is where you will have the chance to go ahead and ask questions about anything that you've seen today. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it then. So first of all, why start a direct to garment t-shirt business? Well, some of the reasons are here on the screen. Number one, you have a low cost startup with a high margin. Now, when I say low cost startup, a lot of times whenever you're trying to start a business, you have high cost. You have to think about a retail space. You have to think about overhead. You have to think about your business plan as a whole, which a lot of those business plans can actually be, in the thousands, if not $50,000 to $100,000 just to start up a business. Now, with direct to garment, you actually don't need a retail space. As a matter of fact, majority, if not 90 to 95% of our customers who are very successful in this business start off in their garage or even in a spare bedroom. So with that being said, with DTG, you have that low cost startup with such a high margin because majority of it, you are going to be focusing on your online or social media sales. Another reason why it's a good idea to start a t-shirt business is because we have high demand. Now, if you just think about it, everywhere you go, you look at someone and they're wearing some sort of t-shirt. Now that shirt, that polo shirt, whether you're golfing, playing sports, or you're going to school or work, businesses, every single shirt has some sort of decorative item on it, whether they're trying to express themselves, whether they're trying to celebrate an anniversary or a birthday, or you're just a simple business that needs to have a logo on a shirt. Custom shirts are everywhere you go. Now, I was once talking to one of our customers that actually is making anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000 a month in running this business. Now, mind you, he didn't make that the first month, so keep that in mind. You have to scale up to that. but he's been in business now for about a year, a little bit over a year. And now he's making anywhere between $40,000 to $60,000 a month. I asked him a simple question. I said, do you think this market, this t-shirt market, is saturated? And surprisingly, he said no. He in his little town, there's actually 3 other director garment companies or businesses that's in his little town, and yet he is making $40,000 to $60,000 a month in running his business, which is pretty crazy to me. And well, I'm going to try to get him on one of our shows so that he can explain that and how he did that. But again, the answer to the question, there's such a high demand and the business is not saturated. As a matter of fact, when it comes to the t-shirt or custom t-shirt business, this is a $1 trillion business that you will be potentially stepping into. So there's a lot of market for everyone. Now, with the DTG t-shirt business as well, you do have helpful and free resources for marketing. So again, you don't necessarily have to pay thousands of dollars to start this business. You can start up with a simple free Instagram, free Facebook. There's free Facebook groups. You also have Etsy. So all of these areas you can start building a following, which again, these are free resources that can help you build your business and of course your audience. It's also, as we mentioned, it is low cost to get started. What I mean by the low cost to get started is whenever you're purchasing anything from a shirt, and we'll cover the cost for shirts and inks and the equipment a little bit later, but you have the options with this particular business to start off with monthly payments for the equipment. Shirts are anywhere between $1 to $3 a shirt. So again, it's very low cost, but with a high margin. And again, we'll go through those details a little bit later. Lastly, why starting a DTG business is a good idea is because brands and boutique businesses are exploding. If you have Instagram or Facebook, I know for myself, I have Instagram and Facebook, and I just started about 6 months ago now. And I mean, these sponsored ads with all these different brands and boutiques of specialized items is exploding when it comes to this business. And if you have a great idea or a different niche for your brand, now is the time to get it started because it's so easy to start marketing it on social media. Okay, so those are just a few reasons why a lot of people go into or get into DTG. Now, how do you get into DTG? Basically, I always like to suggest this to everyone who is starting a business or a DTG business. Number one, you want to start off with a business plan. Now, this business plan does not need to be complicated, but it does have to have some essentials. First of all, cost of startup. Okay, you want to make sure that you're looking at all your costs and how you're going to start up, even if you're going to be working from your garage. Okay, you also want to make sure that you consider and look for free resources. For example, there's this, idea or this quote unquote myth that you have to be a digital design artist to start DTG business. Well, to tell you the truth, again, about 90% of our customers do not know how to use Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, one of our other very, very successful customers who now owns 3 of our printers actually used an app called Vintage Logo. It's a free app that's called Vintage Logo. And then you also have another app called Canvas. So these are all free resources that you don't necessarily have to be an expert in when it comes to creating these images or designs for your brand or your t-shirt company. Instead, you can use these free different resources and then, take a little, there are also YouTube videos on how you can learn how to create these different designs. Again, take advantage of these free resources. Make sure you outline that in your business plan. Then, of course, you want to make sure that you talk about your marketing costs. How are you going to market? And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of some ideas later on how a lot of our successful customers started marketing. But in this case, again, free resources, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And then, of course, word of mouth, your friends and family. And again, we'll talk about that later. And then, of course, you want to outline in your business plan, what are you planning to offer? What's your pricing? Are you going to be selling shirts, tank tops, sweaters, socks, shoes? What exactly are those products? Source them so you have your cost in hand. And then what are you going to price them so you know exactly how much money you're going to make? And then, of course, again, your business plan does not need to be complicated, but instead, it needs to be simple. And then it needs to be ready. You need to be ready to modify your plan. I'm pretty sure those people who purchased a printer in early 2020, in January 2020, had to very quickly adjust in February 2020 or even March 2020. Because if you had a retail store at that time, and unfortunately the pandemic started, you had to automatically adjust to go into online sales. So again, your business plan should be constantly evolving to what the time is now, which we know now retail and online sales is completely booming. Big thing is you need to know your return on investment. Some questions to ask yourself. How many garments do I need to recoup my investment? How many garments do I need to print to make my financial payment? So for example, if you had a monthly payment, how many garments is that per day, per month? How many garments do I need to print to meet my financial goals? Now that's different between financial payments and financial goals. Financial payment is basically your monthly payment if you have one. So that could be anywhere between $200 to $400 a month. How many shirts is that? But what's your goal? You know, is your goal $5,000 a month? Is it $10,000 a month? Make sure you have that goal written down as well. Not just on a not just on a monthly basis, but I always encourage everyone to have your goals on how much you should be printing and selling on a daily, weekly, as well as monthly. And those are your financial goals. And then, of course, it's important to make sure that you see this, you keep these return on investments, and you keep it on an Excel file. Now, if you don't have one and if you need some help with creating a return on investment, we have a very simple return on investment calculator that we can share with you. So if you are in need of one of those, just when you are in your breakout room, just ask the regional managers that's there with you and we can share that with you guys. Now, another really important thing is ramp up time. Okay, so this is really important. I know it's exciting to purchase a new printer or start a new business, but I always tell everyone, do not take orders from day one. Allow yourself some time for the learning curve. Just like buying a new phone, you need to learn how to use that new phone, the new features, new software, the ordering process, your sourcing process. You need to have all of that handled before you take an order. The worst thing you never want to do is have to take an order and not be able to fulfill it because of the fact that you didn't exactly line up your learning curve in time. Now, our printers are very easy to work with. So typically I give a learning curve anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks once you get it started. Okay. Couple other things that I always suggest: all t-shirts are not created equally. So I always encourage get samples from a few different suppliers. Just because the t-shirt is cheap doesn't mean it's the best t-shirt to choose, because keep in mind, you want return customers. So if a customer comes to you, purchases a shirt, but that shirt is not necessarily the best fitting shirt, or, it's not the greatest shirt, you probably won't get that customer going back to you. So you want to make sure that you have your return customers. So you want to make sure that you have high quality shirts. Now, again, high quality shirts does not have to cost so much. Your high quality shirts, if you go to different suppliers, they have sales and discounts on these high quality shirts. The biggest thing to look for is ring spun cotton. And of course, you want to be able to feel those different types of samples. So that's why I always request samples from your suppliers. Okay. And then, of course, give yourself time to get your designs together. That's the most important thing. So give yourself some time to get that together. Okay. All right. Samples day. This is something that I absolutely encourage everyone to do when you have a business and you want to get your name out there. As a matter of fact, I can share so many success stories that customers come back to me and said, oh my gosh, I did exactly what you said. And I went out there to local businesses and gave them samples of their logo, their name, and gave it to them, and they were able to get orders from there. So samples day is something that I absolutely encourage. Basically what that is number one, you print samples for any target business or any target period that you're trying to obtain. So again, shirts can be anywhere between a couple bucks to $4. Ink is less than $1. So I always say once a week, choose a samples day, look at a map, look at your local business, and go out there and print samples for those businesses. Now, when I say print samples for those businesses, I don't mean to print just your logo and a nice picture. I suggest that you actually take their logo. So for example, if you're going to a local car wash and it's called, car wash detailing services, you want to print their logo, their business on that shirt that you're dropping off to them. It gives them so much more appreciation knowing that you took time to pull that information when you're dropping off those samples. Okay. So samples day is very, very big when it comes to building your business and building your company. This is also something that I always tell everyone, do not take lightly, okay? Because friends and family should be the first place you go. Now, this here is your example of a simple startup plan with 0 sales call and also no social media, okay? So essentially, if you have some kids, you have a school, students, so you want to look at the school. You also want to look at any place of worship if you're active in there. Your work, coworkers, your email list. So typically someone has a contact list of anywhere between 50 to 100 contacts. And then again, if you have social media profile, some people have anywhere between 100 friends. Okay. Now, this is called the 10% rule. If you let all of these people know that you are in business and you can do these printing activities, the 10% rule basically says that if you take 10% of 900 families, so again, schools, you'll have around anywhere between 50 customers there, place of worship, about 20 customers.
Okay.
You have your work, which you'll have possibly 5 customers. Email list is anywhere between 5 customers. And then again, social media list, you'll have anywhere between 10 customers. You take that, if they average an order of anywhere between 20 pieces, your average price is anywhere between $15 to $20. But again, in our example here, say it's $15. You're looking at $15 times 20 pieces each, and that's 90 customers, $27,000. And that is only looking at your close family and friends. So most people don't necessarily understand that word of mouth is powerful. And when you're providing these products to your close family and friends, make sure that they're the high quality products. Again, good shirts. Hi guys, if you guys are on unmuted, if you can just please mute. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so let's talk about some retail profit margins. As I mentioned, blank shirts are anywhere between $1 to $2.50 for wholesale. Then your ink used for printing, we just rounded it up to $1, but depending on the size of the shirt that you're printing, the color shirt you're printing, it could be anywhere between 28 cents to sometimes $1.50 to $2, again depending on the size shirt that you're printing and the type of image you're printing. But for our case of our example here, we're going to say that the total cost to print a shirt is $3.50. Now, if you sold that shirt for $25, that means your profit per shirt is $21.50. If you sold 500 shirts, you're making $10,000 and $10,000 or 11,000 if you round up. If you sell 1,000 shirts, you're making $21.50. Now, I understand not every shirt is going to be $25. As a matter of fact, the popular number out there is anywhere between $18 to $20. So again, this is where your ROI calculator comes into play. If you drop your prices to $18 to $20, then it changes how many shirts you need to sell to make your monthly profit or even your yearly profit. So again, just make sure that you use your business plan in that ROI calculator. Okay. But still, you can see here, there's lots of shirts and lots of money to be made. Doesn't matter on what cost you actually, what price you actually price your shirt at. The margins are very, very large when it comes to t-shirt printing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump right into the type of printers that we have here at RICOH DTG. So the first printer is the RICOH RI2000. Now this is our newest printer, and it's one of the most popular printers right now. The reason being is because it's fast, it's easy, and of course it's built for your business. We normally recommend this printer if you have a medium to large size business. Now, some of the features for this printer is that it has an automatic table height adjustment. It also saves time in printing because it has a single pass printing mode. Now, there are 4 printing modes. You have super speed, speed, fine, and super fine. Now, this printer is known for its fast speeds. Basically, when we printed a 8 or 10 by 8 full color photo on a light garment, it took us 10 seconds. That's on a light garment, so white shirt. And if you're printing that same image on a dark garment, it was under 60 seconds, which is pretty much unknown in the DTG world. So this printer here is making waves when it comes to its print time. Okay, and then of course it does have the automatic height adjust, so you always have that perfect print every single time. So all you would need to do is lay the shirt or sweater onto the platen that you see there, and it will automatically height adjust itself. Okay, so that's some of the features for the RI2000. There's actually a little bit more, but for the sake of the webinar, I will let you guys, if you guys are interested with RI2000, I recommend that you ask further questions with the regional managers in the breakout sessions. All right, the next printer is the award-winning RICOH RI1000 printer. Now, with this particular printer, again, it has majority of the features that the RI2000 has. The only thing, the differences with this one is that it does not have single pass printing. So it will still do dark colors, light color shirts. The biggest print size is 20 by 16. It does not have an automatic height adjust. So with this one, there is a manual height adjustment, but again, it's not hard to do. With this particular printer, it's very popular with small and medium-sized businesses. So this is the type of printer that if you're just starting up, most of our businesses go with this one here. Okay, it has a full touch screen panel that you see there on the right hand side on the photo. And then again, it has your easy table height adjustment where you will always get the perfect print because it is guided by a laser. So the laser will tell you if you're too high, and then you just need to simply adjust your height level on your item that you're printing on, and it will always give you that perfect print. Also, because of the print heads, you will be getting 1200 by 1200 DPI. So high resolution performance when it comes to this printer here. And again, it will print on light and dark colored shirts. And then we also have the award-winning RI100 printer. Now, this particular printer will only print on white or light colored garments. Okay, so I want to stress that, white or light colored garments. But this is a very fun printer because as you can see, it's super compact. So a lot of our customers who start off with the RI1000, they do get this RI100 next because of the fact that they actually use it to travel. I have one customer who actually started with the RI100 and they actually did and purchased this printer for a volunteer work for Children's Hospital. Now, of course, this was not during 2020, but prior to 2020, they purchased this. They went to Children's Hospital and printed free socks for the sick children that were there. It made such a big impact on that hospital that now that particular company purchased an RI1000 as well. And now they have a bunch of orders because of this one good deed that they did and basically giving away to the Children's Hospital and printing socks for fun. So again, this particular printer, the reason why they purchased this one is because it is small, so it's easier to travel with, it's compact. And of course, in the bottom, you see it comes with the printer on top, and then right in the bottom, you'll see that there's also a heat curing unit. So there's a heat press along with this printer as well. This is something that is good if you're looking to only print on white or light colored garments, or again, if you're a starter business as well. Oops. Okay, applications. So with those three printers, these are some of the applications that you can use. These mostly apply to the RI1000 and the RI2000. Okay. And the reason being is because there's more space for you to put items inside versus RI100. As you saw, they're very compact, so you wouldn't be able to put a shoe in the RI100, unfortunately. So these different applications do apply more to the RI1000 and the 2000. Basically, you can print, as you can see here on the photos, you can print shirts, of course, masks, shoes, hats, tote bags, canvas, wood, glass. I mean, you can have fun with it. And again, because it has a quick change platen, you simply lift the platen and you put the new one on there. You can do that. The RI2000 does have a hoop hanger along with it. And of course, both the RI2000 and the 1000 has 1200 by 1200 DPI. Okay, so you have those nice crisp images. Now, what printer or which printer is right for me? Really, that's going to be up to you and what type of items you are looking to purchase. I will say the most popular printer for small and medium-sized businesses is the RI1000. If you sell about 650 shirts, you basically have made your ROI, your return on investment, for the RI1000. If you sell about 950 shirts, you've made your ROI for the RI2000. And if you sold only 300 shirts, you've made your ROI for the RI100. So again, this is to figure out which printer is best for you. You need to look at exactly what type of items and how you want to go to market. All right, so go back to your business plan, know your ROI, and again, ask for that ROI calculator if you don't already have one. All right, from one of our team members. Okay, so here is the main feature of the presentation and our wonderful announcement that we have. We have now partnered up with Viper pretreatment machines, and RICOH DTG are now carrying the Viper pretreatment machines. Not only are we carrying their Viper and their Viper Max, but we're also carrying their brand new pretreatment machine called Viper Mini. Now, what we're going to do is I'm just going to play a quick video here on a demonstration on all three Viper machines. And then we'll do a live demonstration with Brian Walker, and then we'll take some questions for that particular, for the pre-treatment machines. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing here and share my video. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And now I have Brian Walker here live.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Thanks
At
so
least
much
for,
for, go ahead. You
I was
first.
just going to say, at least for cold Ohio.
There you go. Hey, I love your setup there. Can everybody, I'll just do a quick, make sure that everyone can see Brian's screen here and his setup for the pre-treatment machine before we start the demo. Yep. Looks good. Okay, perfect. Thanks, everyone. Okay, great. Well, Brian, we're super excited. We've been excited, first of all, to carry your product. We've been trying now for about a year, and that's mostly our fault. But I'm so glad and so happy to announce that we are now carrying your products. We've done extensive testing with all of your pre-treatment machines, and we absolutely love it here in our lab. So this is a very special announcement, but even more so, you came out with this new Viper Mini. Tell us a little bit more about it and why. Why? I mean, this is a great surprise for us.
Yeah, it's a culmination of everything we've sort of done over the past 12 years of making pre-treat machines. And what we've seen a lot of times, especially for the new shop owners that are just getting into direct-to-garment, a lot of times funds or monies are tight, obviously. And the purchase of a pre-treat machine in conjunction with a DTG printer, we believe is absolutely essential to being successful. 80% of pretty much all of your direct-to-garment problems will result from improper pre-treating. So we have several different machines, as you saw in the video. And what we thought was, for the new people starting out that are maybe on a cash budget restraint type thing, there really wasn't a whole lot of great options on the market. And so we created this beast.
Yeah.
It's really little. I mean, you can sort of see here in the one side view. It has a touch screen here for speed control. Believe it or not, we fit everything in here. It is self-propelled. So you set the speed and that will adjust the amount of pre-treatment that is applied to the shirt.
Nice.
And because it's self-propelled and because you can adjust the height and everything, you can get repeatable, consistent results from shirt to shirt. And that's a really big deal in direct-to-garment because if you apply too little pre-treatment for your dark shirts, white ink printing, your prints aren't going to look really well. You will have like a weak white print to it. It's just, it just will look blah. Mm-hmm. And you can over apply also the pre-treatment. And a lot of times you're wasting a lot of pre-treat. This here will allow you to do it, consistently from shirt to shirt. And we just had a customer locally to us. They had a competitor pre-treat machine for several years and they continually had issues and problems. They ended up trying one of our RTP shirts, which is ready to print, so you don't have to pre-treat it. Mm-hmm. And they figured out that it wasn't their printer. It ended up being the way they were pre-treating and ended up being the machine. So they got one of these and ended up playing with it. And they called me the next day and said, oh my gosh, this thing, it's consistent, it's repeatable, it's made their printing a lot better. So, and it's relatively easy to use. Pretty much anybody can do it. You can do it on a table, and when you're done, clean it out, pop it under your table, and you get your entire workspace back. So it doesn't take up as much room, which is great for a lot of the smaller shops that also have space constraints.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing that I noticed when you introduced this Viper Mini to us is the fact that, because of the majority of our customers, they're, starting off. And as I mentioned, majority of them start off in their garage or even a spare bedroom. So by us having this type of, machine available, and mind you, I'm going to say this again, this is the only machine out there right now that can help you consistently pre-treat perfect every single time. This is the only machine out there. I believe this is groundbreaking news. And again, to Brian's point, 80% of your issues are going to come from pre-treating, especially when you're new to direct to garment. It's that little thing that you have to do. So if you take that out of the picture, then you're golden for the rest of your printing.
Yeah, and nobody, I'll be upfront with everybody. I am like the black sheep of the family, DTG family. Nobody likes to pre-treat, period.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it by hand with a Wagner sprayer, you can do that. It's possible. But it ends up being really messy and inconsistent. You know, you can get good at it. But as you grow your business, this is a great way to get started, getting the consistency. And what we were just talking today internally, that even for mid-size shops or bigger shops that didn't want to fire up the bigger machines, you can just pull this out and do a quick shirt or a pant leg on a sweatpants or something like that, and make it easier to do. And that's the whole key, is if you can, and I'll just tell everybody up front, get the pre-treating down. Operating the printer will be a lot easier. Pretty much most of the time, everybody, and what I've seen, most everybody wants to go directly to the printer. Oh, the printer's bad, the printer's this, that. A lot of times that's not the case. You do a nozzle check, all the nozzles are there. It has to do with the pre-treating period. And, you know, this whole portion of things is not the fun part. Printing the shirts on the printers is fun. This is necessary. Think of it as the foundation to your house. You do this well and correctly, it makes DTG printing on your printer so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, guys, and are you going to do a short demo there for us?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I can do one. So the way this is set up, see if I can do this in here. This is set up so you can actually adjust the spray height. So the nozzle adjusts up and down. And if I get this set back up to where it was, and it's a quick change nozzle. So if there's ever an issue with in nozzles, because a lot of times people don't clean their machines correctly, and that will leave a residue and it dries on the tips, that will cause spray issues. It's very small and compact, which is great. Now, the one thing we were talking about today here at our shop too was the pump that we use in this is the same pump that we use in our professional or high-end units. That was the Viper Max that we saw in the video. And you can think of it, it's a custom-made pump for us. It is an expensive pump, but the pump is the heart and the soul of all the DTG pre-treatment machines. And a lot of them use just regular pumps, this, that, and they may not get the consistency. This thing is tiny, it's a powerhouse, and it really does a great job. And you can see up here, here's a little button. This actually turns the sprayer on and off. So when you're filling or emptying the pre-treat machine, let's see, it would go like this here, you can actually just turn it on and you can hear it spraying. Okay. So we've got this set for a setting of 50 on the speed. And basically you just line it up, and we've got, just to show here, when you get the Mini, it comes with a little foam platen, I guess you'd say. This helps give the machine some traction, because if you do it on a slick table, it's just the shirt will tend to slide. So you just take this, and however long you want it to spray, you just sort of guide with your hand, press the button. And if I want to go all the way down the shirt, boom, done.
And that's it.
That's it. Then you would take this to your heat press,
Nice.
heat set it, and goes straight to the printer.
Nice.
And the cleanup is quick and easy on it, and it's a great little unit. This is a great spray pattern for DTG prints. Actually, in the other video that we're going to be doing here in a week or two, I use this for the special video.
There you go.
I'm sure you'll be letting everybody know about here in a week or so, or whenever you're doing that.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks so much, Brian. Yeah. Brian will be one of our guests again in 2 weeks. But that's going to be more of an educational one. But this one is, again, thank you so much for joining us. This is one of our biggest announcements that we've had. We always want to make sure that businesses who start a business will have, the best tools possible. And again, we've done extensive testing with every single one of your machines, Brian. Our lab loves it, and therefore that's the reason why we decided to carry it. So, and this is obviously the best partner for RICOH DTG.
Well, we appreciate it. And our goal is just to help people be successful. And if they can grow their DTG business, it's going to grow the industry. And like you said earlier, direct-to-garment is growing incredibly fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen too many people get in and not get started on the right foot. And this is a great complement to your printers. And that's why we're excited to be partnered with you on this, because we think we can bring a lot of education and expertise and make it easier for your customers to be more successful. Because if you fail here, it doesn't matter what you can do with the printer. This is the foundation.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, super easy, as everyone saw it. So absolutely, you can't make it any easier than pushing a button. So that's the most exciting part. And you'll always get the perfect amount of pre-treat every single time. So that's super exciting for us. So great. Thank you again so much, Brian. Appreciate your time. All right, guys, I know you guys have all been waiting for this. So let me just share my screen here one more time. All righty. And I believe it is now time for the iPad giveaways. Yay. Okay. So as you all know, I simply close my eyes. Oh, sorry, there was a question for you. Sorry, my apologies. Before we do the iPad giveaway, Brian, there's a question here in the chat. Does it require specialized cleaners? Thanks so much, Triana, for that question.
Thanks, Brianna. What we typically recommend, we do have a cleaning solution to run through it. We recommend running that through all of the pre-treat machines. But on a daily basis, what we really recommend is running hot water through the system. The nice thing with the way that this is set up is you can easily flush the machine simply by taking the tube out of the pretreatment solution and salvaging the pretreatment that is in lines, and then just run hot water through the system. So we recommend doing that after you're done using it every day, and then once a week, running the cleaning solution through it and flushing that with water. A clean, healthy system is, it's like the printers. Keep them clean, they'll perform for you.
Awesome. Great. So a couple more questions started flowing in after Triana asked that question. So we'll take a couple more. The Viper, how much space is needed? So I know that we saw it on the video. So what's kind of the size and space for the Viper?
Okay. Can you switch back to my screen easy?
Yeah. Let me stop sharing here. There you go. Okay. Go for it.
There we go. So you're done spraying, you can end of the day, boop, back, you got your dinner table back. That makes it easy. Now the other machines, now that I got dirt all over this, the other machines, like I said, you can see this one's really tiny. I mean, this literally, in comparison to a bottle of pre-treatment, let me find, okay, this is a 1 gallon bottle of pre-treatment. You can see how big it is.
Yeah.
So think of this as, like I said, almost like a gallon of milk. It's a 1 gallon bottle. So this you can actually stash under your table, on a shelf somewhere, and make it really, really easy. The other ones do require a little more space. And like you saw in the video, typically it's about 3.5 foot, give or take. And a lot of those, both those will fit on a standard type table. So, but that is sort of a permanent fixture along with the printer. So if you have really tight working space, that can be an issue. But with the Mini, it literally, you can just, when you're done, pop it up on the shelf and you're ready to go.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. And we can, we have some specific dimensions for you, Slava. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. I love that name. So if you have, when you go to the regional manager's room or the breakout sessions, you can just ask them to email you for the specific dimensions, okay? For the bigger machines. We can do that for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was going to say, I just saw a couple of questions here. Pre-treating, how many, do you mind if I do this real quick? A couple of these
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
How many shirts can you typically pre-treat with a gallon of pre-treatment? So Paul, basically, it depends on how big of an area you're spraying and how much pre-treat you apply. Typically, what I tell people is it'll range anywhere from roughly 100 to 175 shirts. If you're doing a small left chest on a light colored shirt, you can probably get several hundred out. But a typical full size like this, you'll get on average probably 125, roughly, not 100 to 135. That's why I give the range of 100 to 125, 150 shirts. So it depends on how some shirts require more pre-treatment than others. So like you were talking about a higher quality shirt, that will typically require less pre-treatment than a lower quality shirt to get the same print quality. And we have some resources on our website that show that difference of using the same amount of pre-treatment on several different shirts, and the print quality that you get on your white ink is totally different. How many shirts here? Okay, that's two questions there that I saw that pretty much answered it. Yeah, all three pre-treatment machines do require, if that's what they're made for, is pre-treating. And so
There's a
you do need to
question.
run.
Yep. Sorry. Yeah. Brian, there's a question here. Do you need to wipe the shirt before you put it on the heat press? I believe the answer is no. You just need to use some
No, you
craft
don't
paper.
need to. It depends on the quality of the shirt. Sometimes you can get if it's a really hairy shirt that has fibers sticking up, you can squeegee it in one direction and heat press it. And as you heat press it, that'll help hold, the pre-treatment will help hold those fibers down. But the higher the quality shirt, you don't need to do that really necessarily. Most of the shirts, I never really do that. If you apply the right amount of pre-treatment on a good quality shirt, rarely should you need to do that. Can you? We'll probably do some articles on that in the future just to show the difference like we did with the quality of shirts and the same amount of pre-treatment. Mm-hmm. But in general, don't skimp. I'm going to be adamant on this. Don't skimp on the quality of the shirt. Oh, but this is what everybody wants. You're the expert when you start doing this. And if somebody wants you to print on a shirt that's made out of burlap and is going to shrink like crazy, tell them no. Just be adamant and educate your customers. But it will make it easier for you because a higher quality shirt, you can actually reduce the amount of pre-treatment and ink that you use. Mm-hmm. And that can end up saving you money in the long run.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, I mean, like I said earlier, the higher quality shirts, they don't cost, if you catch them when it's on a discount or a sale, I saw some Billy Canvas shirts the other day that were on sale for $1.75, and those are some really good high quality shirts. So keep in mind, you can get good quality shirts still at a good discounted price. So we'll just take two more questions because we do have to move on to the giveaway. So there's two more from Larry there. Go ahead. No, Larry. We want to address this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Does the pre-treatment have a strong smell? No, not really. Some people probably are more sensitive to smell than others, but with at least our pre-treatments, there is not really a strong odor. Now, obviously there's a little bit and you are going to be spraying, but for the most part, no. The biggest issue you're going to get with anything is when you heat the shirt on your heat press, you're going to get dye burn off. You're going to have the steam from the pre-treatment coming off. So, you want to have some good ventilation. Don't pack yourself in an airtight room and try to do DTG. But typically, no, there's not a strong smell. And the other one that I liked, a question here I saw was, how long do you wait to print on the shirt after you pre-treat it? Typically with the Image Armor pre-treatments, you would spray it and then go to the heat press and then typically right to the printer. While it's printing, you can be doing your next t-shirt. So you can get into a pretty good rhythm. Everybody always asks us, what is the shelf life on the pre-treatment? Like our RTP shirts, I really can't tell you because we haven't found it yet. We're up to 5 years on the shirts.
Wow.
And the shirts are ready to print. So you can print anywhere on the shirt you want, front, back, side, sleeves. And we utilize very similar technology for our pre-treatment that like I was spraying here.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing is you can spray it on Monday, keep it till Friday, but what you want to do is heat press the shirt right before printing, because the pre-treatment is going to want to absorb moisture from the air. Now, that may not be a big deal if you live in Arizona and it's in the middle of the summer and it's like negative 5,000 percent humidity where everything shrivels up. But for most people, they will collect moisture. So just heat pressing it real quick to get all the moisture out of the shirt will help your prints look a lot better. And so, if you went a week or two, not a big deal. My joke is, it's like fish. It's always better fresh. So if you're doing it in production, it just makes it easier. There's less people doing this to the shirt and, messing up the pre-treatment. You don't want to rough everything up on the shirt and the fibers, so that way it helps keep it as a smooth surface and everything. If you don't manhandle the shirts and everything, you'll be okay.
Awesome.
So
all
hopefully
right.
that helps everybody.
Awesome. Yep. Okay, great, guys. We're going to go ahead and move on. If your question was not answered, we will make sure to email you. And also at the same time, you can also ask the question in your breakout session with your regional manager, because they are very good with also pre-treating as well. So they can make sure that they answer